starting to mix up the resin. We're doing the mad resin trial. Just want to show you what to look for when you first put your part A and part B together. See how you've got these sort of streaky, milky bits? See if you can really get in and see that. And once those sort of streaky bits have gone, it's a good indicator that your resin is mixed. I just want to show you how I stir. I just get my stick right in the sides and pull around, making sure I'm dragging the bottom and almost folding my resin. And I try not to be vigorous like this because that tends to get a fair bit of air bubbles in there. And, you know, whilst we can get them out with our torch, it's just much easier if they're not in there to begin with. So the resin mixing usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes. It's tricky because even though both part A and part B are clear, it's like when you're mixing white with Floetrol or PVA with Floetrol. If you're an acrylic pourer, this will make sense. If not, sorry about the analogy. But those two products too are white, and you can't really tell when they're completely mixed in. So it's just knowing that the products, in order for these to work, especially the resin, the molecules really need to, it all needs to be merged really, really well. And as I've been talking, about 2 minutes has passed, and I can see that because of the camera. And I want to just now give you a bit of a look at the resin compared to what it was last time I showed you. See how much clearer it is? And so I'm saying that we're almost there. In fact, I would suggest that some people would even start using the resin now, but I like to give mine a bit more of a mix. I'll just put the resin out there just for a second. Just read a few things out from the label for your interest while I do this last bit of mixing. Okay, for best results, use at room temperature between 20 to 26 degrees Celsius. And with that, also try and keep your resin at room temperature if you can. And when I say room temperature, like your inside warm area, I really do think that the resin does get affected by being in temperatures that change. The pot life of this is 40 minutes, which means from the moment that I've opened it and they've touched, it's got about 40 minutes for me to use. They're saying that that's based on 100 mils at 24 degrees. And it says it's set to touch in about 10 hours. Lightly torch to get rid of any air bubbles, we know that. And the working time is approximately 40 minutes. So, very good. Oh, this is the piece that I'm going to cover just to see how it goes with covering on canvas. I've already cleaned that. And I'm also going to cast set a couple of these, and I'll mix some colours in and see how we go. I don't have time to do an art piece today with it, but I will tomorrow. So I'm going to put you on pause while I mix up all my colours, and then we'll get to it. I'm back. Just for your background information, the mica that I've used is Pearl X. Yeah, Pearl X, and it's quite beautiful. Oh, did you hear Jazzy just do a big sigh? I'm just going to get straight on with it. It shouldn't take too long from this point on. I'm going to pretty much just flood cover this, even though I want to add a few colour features. Oh, I haven't got my gloves on. How naughty is that? Which is very naughty. So I'm just going to stop right now and put my gloves on. Fortunately, I always have a pair not far. And on they go. Oh, on go my gloves. Okay. I'm just going to tilt this a little bit. And that's how I tend to like to cover mine. I probably could use a lot less if I got a silicone brush out, but I do want to see how this goes. And I also like my resin on the canvases to have the dome effect, which means I'm allowing it to hold at its greatest depth. The viscosity or the texture of this resin, I can tell, is going to be quite thin, which is fine as long as you know it's not any easier or harder to work with. It just is simply something to be aware of. You know, for things like geode forms, I prefer to use a resin that's a little bit thicker than this. But what you can do is once you become quite able, or I don't mean able, what do I mean? When you become familiar with the movement of the resin and also how you're making your geode, you find that your working time can be a lot shorter. So you can actually allow your resin to start, not start curing, but just start taking effect. And that means if you're really efficient, you can start working it on the last sort of 10 minutes of its cure. Now that's covered really nicely. I did rub and clean it with baby oil. Baby oil, no way, with a baby wipe. I'm just going to get down on my side to see that that's covered beautifully, and it is. What I did do is mix up a little bit of copper in the resin because I want to run a line of copper through to the painting, or just put some areas of copper just to help this painting along a little bit more. It's a cute little piece, and one that I figured, even though I'm trialing something, I'm pretty confident that this resin is going to be really efficient. So I didn't want to use my product on something that was undeserving. And I know that that makes sense to you. And this will be good to see how the lines of resin sit. It's a beautiful colour, and tomorrow when this is touch dry and I can hold it up into the sun, you'll see why I've chosen it and what my attraction to it is. You might run a thin line down there so I can see how it works in with the uncoloured parts. And I really don't want to put much more than that. I might just drizzle some on the corner just to, not really too sure why, just because I can. Breaking it up a little bit so it doesn't look so hard, the lines that is. And I'm pretty sure that I'm done, but haven't I said that a few times? How many of us, you know, keep working our stuff when we know it's time to stop? You know how many of us? I reckon all of us. We're hilarious, aren't we? Okay, I really sometimes think I need someone here to take things off me. All right, that's got to be done there. And I'm also going to add a little bit more clear resin with some sparkles, just so we can see how it goes. Put it in that little spot there. Get this spot here next to the copper. I very much love sparkles and use it in just about all of my paintings that are going to the next level. Next level being absolutely going to be hung on someone's wall when I'm finishing it off. I think it would almost be a signature part. Like I'd use the same stuff over and over. I very much love the way it looks. These big chunky bits of glitter for only this feature. It's not something I use in everything. I'm going to add a little bit just over there. See how much that moves. And here on the yellow, because that will pop. And a little bit here where it's clear. And I'm pretty much, will be done in a moment. Thank you so much for your patience. Though I do realise you're watching how this is working and not actually really impatient at all. So the reason that we are excited about the MAD art resin, by the way, MAD does stand for something. It stands for Melbourne Art District. We're excited about it because of the potentiality to have something more affordable for us in Australia to work with. So I can't remember the exact price, but believe me, I do think I wouldn't be wrong by saying it is around $70 for 2 litres. And that's extraordinary because, you know, more often than not, many of us are paying far more than that, closer to the $100 mark for 1 litre. Oh no, 2 litres, 1 litre each bottle, yeah. So it's an extraordinary saving financially, and at this stage there's nothing wrong at all, or nothing, I shouldn't say wrong, but there's nothing alarming or obvious that we need to have caution with. For me, the only thing I would say to have caution with would be this statement that I'm about to make, and that's not specifically about this resin, it's about using resin in general. And that's the notion of just because your resin doesn't have an offensive odor doesn't mean it's not producing toxic fumes. Okay, I'm going to flick that with my torch and call it done. I'm just actually deciding if I want to run my finger around the sides quickly with the clear, which I am going to do because I'm interested to see how it actually holds on the sides, because it is quite thin, and I don't worry so much about my sides having a thick coat, but I do like it to be consistent with the top part of the canvas. So for it to have just a little bit of resin being able to hold on the side to help it have that high gloss finish would be very, very, very good. I'll pull that down in a minute. Okay. Looks like it's going to stick nicely on the sides too, which is very, 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 very good. Okay, torch, here it is. Let's flick and move this over and get on to the next part of the trial. Remember, that's it. That's all we need. It's only about removing the air bubbles. Okay. So ever so carefully, might just slide that to there and move this over here, tip this way. Just worried about knocking this. So worried about knocking it, I probably will. That tends to be the type of silly things I do. And let's make sure that we've got this in shot. It's going to be the first time I use these little molds as well, so that's exciting. Okay, so the first mold I'm going to fill is going to be of clear, because we want to see how it actually looks clear. The second part of the molds are these nice geode molds. I'm just putting this kind of sparkly stuff. Where is the camera? Can you really see it? Not really. Anyway, I'm putting it around the middle part where I want the geode to look like the crystal is formed. And I'm having a bit of difficulty doing that in this light, but I will just persevere and remind myself this is the first time I've used these molds, so you know, stop giving myself a hard time, huh? I mean, conceptually it's a good idea. Who knows what it's going to be like in practice? It's the same with everything, isn't it? Claudia, if you watch this, I was thinking about you with this part. Maggie, not me, but Maggie from America. When I was talking about fumes, I was thinking about you. Rob, when I was talking about the sides, I was thinking about you. I think I'll just stop there, or maybe I'll just use the last bits in this just to see how it goes without the little space bit. I might put it around the edge. Or at least we'll be able to have a good look at the effect. Alright, I have got some in there. It's amazing how a little goes a long way. And it really does with resin, doesn't it? You notice that for yourself? Okay. So as I was saying earlier, I've mixed the resin with Pearl. Oh, that's the clear one. Pearl X. I'm not going to use that in all of it. I might do this one over here just to see how it goes. And this is a nice bronze colour. You see how the resin itself's already starting to thicken? And what I was mentioning before about the idea of if we waited for this resin, it would be better for geodes. So that appears to be the case at this point. And it's just a little bit of clear with sparkles in it going straight on top of the copper. And it should look nice, theoretically. And this is a very, very, very gorgeous lilac that has an iridescent gold in it. Well, I keep going to put it in the clear, which is good, isn't it? Because it means I can't see it. Okay, and coming back with the darker purple now, and do the edging. I feel very clumsy. Just going to kind of swirl those in a bit. It'll be interesting to see how they work out. And also, what I'm liking about doing these, whatever they're called, geo molds, is so that we can see how translucent or opaque the Pearlix is when it's working with the mad resin. I'm just going to pour this one completely full. It's so gorgeous. The colour looks like amethyst. What have I got left over here? I've made too much colour. Never mind. Never, ever, ever mind. This is a darker brown, going around the edging just to see if that can help it have a rocky kind of edging or look. Wait, no, until I take them out and see if I don't like this one now. Might have to mush it up a bit. Oh, that's a bit better. I wouldn't mind having a syringe to be doing this actually. Jazzy having a snort in the background. Alright, and what I've got left, I've got a huge amount of copper left. So what might I do? How about I put the last bit of the clear in? This one. I wouldn't mind putting a little bit of the clear in there just to see how it pushes the other pigment and mica around. That looks good. Did you see that push out? Okay, and made up some sparkles, so I'm going to put them into this one here. think I'm really done. Like I'm just, there's nowhere else for me to put anything in. I'm just going to get my other little things, but that's it. So tomorrow morning we'll pull all of these out together and have a look at the coating, and I'll be able to report back in then. Thanks for watching. Look at these gorgeous agates. Can't wait till tomorrow when I can pull them out and show you. Well, hi, it's a few days later from our resin pour. I didn't get to do it as soon as I wanted, but here we go. This is the Mad resin. Hey, I'm talking like you would have to go back to the video, but I'll link them up, so I know, duffer. I just wanted to show you the beautiful shine that has. Nice and cured. It is pretty much cured. Like I could shove my finger in there and not even get a dint now, and I tell you, it's, what day is it? Saturday. And when did I pour these? Tuesday. 4 days later, that has got not one ability to have a finger dint in it. The shimmer copper is gorgeous, and the sparkle held well, and it went nice and flush into the picture, and it's glorious and vibrant. So that's a great success. And here are our molds that we poured. They do just pop out beautifully, and they look glorious, really good. The telling will now be on the clear one. Let's pop the clear one and get a look of how that's come out so we can see the clarity of the clear resin. Okay, just remember that that stuff there is got nothing to do with the resin. That is some effect that I like to put in when I'm doing geodes, but I didn't do it very well in this. But look how clear that resin is. It's glorious and crystal clear. Trying to help you keep in focus. It's really, really, really nice. It's not sold as a casting resin, but look, this is about 1 centimetre and strong as, nice and hard, really clear. I wouldn't mind trying this on something quite deep and see how it goes. Let's pop a few of these other resin molds. Okay. How'd that go? I mean, it looks great in real life. Really nice. This one you can see I overfilled. Oh, no one told me when we were doing it. And we've got 2 more to pop. Oh, there's 4 more to pop. Do you want to? I won't pop them all in front of you. Oh no, you might want to see. These are gorgeous. Some of the way these have turned out. Really, really nice. The resin is what we're looking at though, not the little agate or the effects, even though they are cute. This is a trial on the Mad resin. Oh, I have to repop that there. These are great little resin molds, by the way. It's a hard silicone rather than the soft silicone, but you can see how nice and easy it is that they pop out. I didn't line it with anything like some people suggest, but these look really good. Much better in real life in my hand than what they're coming through on the camera. So there we have it. Mad resin. Mad standing for Melbourne Art Direct resin. It is great. I would recommend you definitely give it a whirl. It's certainly highly competitive at its pricing being under $70 for 2 litres. Look it up and get yourself some. Stay well, my friends.